Hello, welcome. My name is Jill, and this is our True North Insight channel of meditations and classes and retreats. So thank you for tuning in, and hope you find something that supports you tonight or today, whenever you're watching. And some of us are here on a Zoom call before the YouTube recording. So thank you so much for the Zoom community for being here and for sharing some conversation before we go live. It's really helpful for me and really helpful for my heart, actually, to feel sense of community these days, to feel sense of like-hearted beings coming together with such kind intentions, good intentions, that you showing up here also in YouTube after whenever you're here. I think there's something of a good intention for someone to be seeking out these kind of topics and practices, which warms the heart in these days. I was sharing with the group before the recording that for me, this body, heart, mind today is tired and foggy and I was going to say not confused in a really confused way. I was like, not confused, which sounded confused. I don't really feel confused, but I just wasn't sure what. I didn't have time to prepare a talk for tonight, so I'm really just showing up to see what's here. And so that's kind of the question, and the theme for the practice tonight is what's here and what's needed. And that question in and of itself is already awakening, is already inviting, is already part of a meditative inquiry, a heartful relationship with ourselves, to ask ourselves what's here right now. And what that means is, to me, is what's here in this body, primarily body, heart, mind, being, my energy, all of the whole system that I take to be me. What's here right now? Oh, it's like this right now. And some of us were sharing that there's, it's hard to focus right now, or there's fogginess or weariness. Others may be feeling the opposite of that, maybe feeling restlessness and worry or agitation. There could be frustration, anger, and there could be ease and joy. I mean, the spectrum is infinite of what could be here for us right now. And then the second part of the question, what's here and what's needed? So this part is very important. The more experience that we have with meditation, it can be that there's more ability to discern what's needed, what practice is needed, and in our daily life, what's needed right now. Do I need to walk away from this, take a break, be quiet for a few minutes, go lay down? Do I need to practice walking meditation or hearing, breathing? There's so many ways to practice in our formal practice and in our daily lives. We really need to have discernment. What's needed? So what's here and what's needed is, and so I could just guide from what's here in my body and what I know that my system will need to balance that energy and to be able to stay mindful and awake. I know what will work for my system. But I'd rather keep that open so that you can discern and check in what's set here for you in this present moment And then to really trust, there's a trust, faith in Dharma practice, in meditation teachings, is not considered to be faith in an outer source or faith in what someone else tells you how things are. Faith means trust, reliance in what you know, your direct experience. There's an amazing book. Do I have it at hand? I do. Sharon Salzberg's book. I have this amazing bookshelf right here. Faith. I'll put it down below in the YouTube link and also here in the Zoom chat for you. Trusting Your Own Deepest Experience. This is an amazing book. Love it. Sharon Salzberg, Salzberg. She also wrote the book Loving Kindness on the Brahma Viharas, which is also a great book. But it's a wonderful, like, what does faith mean in these teachings and these practices? And so that relates to this question, what's here and what's needed. The what's needed part is like to develop your own reliance and trust and faith in your own knowing of what is needed. Of course, that can be helped by having a teacher and having teachings and having guidance, reading books on Dharma and practice. But really, and the Buddha taught us this as well, is to not trust, not to completely rely on outer external sources for what you know. He very much pointed us over and over again to trust your own direct experience of what is true. So this is what we will do tonight. And also the sweet little synchronicity of, like, it was actually like completely right in front of me on my desk, right underneath a little pile of papers here, was this quote I'd written down that stood out to me, I think last week or week before, that of course applies, because that's how life works sometimes. And I'm not going to be able to say it properly, Lorna. So the author of this quote is Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. It sounded differently when you pronounce it. So it sounded like, yeah, I can't pronounce it. So I'm just going to spell it Goethe. And I'll put a link to that person down below in the YouTube. So this person, Johann, is a poet, playwright, author, critic, novelist, well known for the work Faust, F-A-U-S-T, and died in 1832. And thank you to the Zoom Sangha for Googling that for me on the fly. And so this author said this: knowledge is not enough. We must apply. Willingness is not enough. We must do. That sounds like Yoda. Just saying. No try, only do. Right, Patty? We send that to each other a lot. So knowledge is not enough. We must apply. Right? We know what we should be doing. We know we need to practice. We know stillness is helpful to us. We know a lot. We must apply. And then willingness is not enough. We must do. So this really applies to what's here and what's needed. There's the knowing. So what's here is the knowing, paying attention to how is my being in this moment. And then what's needed, and then we have to actually apply it. We have to actually do it. Knowing is not enough. Willingness is not even enough. We must apply it and do it. Yeah, so for those that were trying to write it down, I'll just say it again, and then I'll also type it out under the YouTube link there. So knowledge is not enough. We must apply. And willingness is not enough. We must do. So our practice tonight, of course, is going to be exploring and really applying this, doing this, paying attention in kind-hearted, mindful, insightful way, what's here and then what's needed. Any more about that? No? A little inner dialogue there. Yeah, so we're going to get ready to actually check this out, have a practice now. And some of the Sangha here on Zoom very wisely already have a practice of knowing what's here right now and what's needed. And so some people regularly practice standing meditation because they know I'm so tired right now. There's no way I can close my eyes and stay alert and awake. And so that might be something that even before we start the formal meditation, you're checking in with yourself, what's here right now and what's needed. So just in terms of setting up our posture, do you need to dim your lights if you've been on a computer all day? Is your body in pain? Do you need to lay down? Are you really tired? Do you need to stand up for your meditation? Do you need any other supports for your posture? So because of my weariness, I'm going to make an effort and apply a little more uprightness to my posture. So I'm not going to sit back against the back of my chair. I'm going to sit my back forward from the back of the chair to help myself feel a bit more energy and uprightness. But you might need to lay down. So really, as we're starting here, we're just checking out what posture do I want to use for my practice tonight. Another possibility here is walking meditation. You could practice just a slow walking back and forth in your space where you can still hear the guidance, if that's helpful to you. And as you're just beginning to settle into the posture that you've chosen for your practice, it may also be that you need some movements. If there's areas of tension, or if you want some wakefulness, you might rub your face. You might need some neck rolls. So you could just take a moment to check that out. Part of your posture is discerning what posture for your eyes is needed. If there's a lot of sleepiness for you at this time, it might be helpful for you to practice with your eyes open. If there's anxiety or overwhelm, it might be helpful for you to have your eyes looking around your space, orienting to where you are, a sense of safety. And if there's a lot of restlessness in the eyes, it might be helpful for you to close your eyes. We're just seeing what's here and what's needed for your posture. And as we're arriving into our posture, allowing ourselves to connect with the support of the ground. This is usually a source, a resource that's helpful for all of us, whether we're sleepy or restless or agitated, just feeling our body, present moment, meeting the ground, supported by ground. So what that actually means is feeling the contact of your body with whatever support it's on. Maybe your feet, maybe your legs, buttocks, your back. What's here right now is the support of the ground, the body, present moment. Body in the present moment. Now really meeting ourselves. For me, I say, hello, sweetheart, to myself. See if there's a greeting that feels like you're just meeting yourself. And in this greeting, meeting, just floating the question, not needing to figure it out or excavate or dig or think about it, just letting it float into awareness. What's here right now in this heart, body, mind, energy, being? Just trusting, allowing knowing to be known. You don't need to figure it out, think about it. Just see if something floats up. It may show up lightly as a word, an emotion. It may be a color, maybe a sense of heaviness, fuzziness, numbness. And we're really checking this out in the body. What's here right now? Maybe different knowings in different areas of the body. What's here in the being known in the area of the head? Is there pressure, buzziness, or fullness or dullness. What's here in the area of the throat and neck? What's here in the heart and chest and upper back? Maybe a sense of disconnect or tension, numbness, joy, heartache, fear. Grief. What's here in the area of the belly, lower back? Again, that might present itself as a color, a sensation, a word, not knowing. And we'll let the awareness expand to include arms and legs, hands and feet, whole body. Hello, sweetheart. How are you? What's here? And then we can begin to float the question, and what's needed? Here we touch into trust and faith of knowing, what do I need right now? It may be a gentle touch to your face or hand at your heart or belly. If there's a lot of weariness or fogginess, confusion, perhaps what is needed is to just choose one thing. Perhaps the sensations in the hands or feet, And just get really curious, paying attention to one area, one thing. If there's a lot of restlessness for you, asking yourself, what would be most calming for me right now? And if there's a lot of sleepiness, what would be most energizing for me in this moment to attend to? Knowledge is not enough. We must apply. Willingness is not enough. We must do. What's here and what's needed. Arousing some energy and determination to really apply what your heart mind knows it needs right now. perhaps just in attending to ourselves in this way, we might begin to feel a little bit of energy, a little bit of ease or joy. Because what's here right now has already changed. How are you now? In a minute, I'll be ringing the bell 3 times. Allow yourself to hear the fullness of the sounds until the 3rd bell ends. And as you transition from the formal practice, can also be floating this question, what's here now and what's needed as you transition? interesting to me that that was a 25-minute practice, but it seemed to go really quickly to me. Maybe for some of you it felt like an eternity though, so I recognize that. Yeah, surprising. So really this question, what's needed, is about the part of the middle path, or the eightfold path to awakening that the Buddha awoke to and shared with us around right effort or wise effort. What's needed? And it's a very important part of our practice and a discernment around what's here right now and what's needed, totally through our daily lives and very much in our laboratory of daily life, our formal practice, where we get to practice and strengthen these capacities in order to be kinder, wiser people in the world. It's really about right effort, I think. Yeah. So for those of you that are sharing the practice with us through YouTube, thank you very much for dropping in, and I will put those links to the book and the quote down below, and there's also a link there to offer voluntary support for the continuation, for me to continue offering these teachings if you're able to. So thank you for joining us. And if you're here on the Zoom call, feel free to stay for a bit.